And so what is it that Electra's doing? Well, the first thing Electra's doing is creating a whole new category of flight, direct aviation. Something that, it's been a dream for a long time. I mean, the aspiration has been what fueled the Eclipse aviation effort. It's been at the heart of some of the efforts decades ago to create real helicopter transportation in the intra-city environment. And it's, of course, today the very heartbeat of what everything advanced air mobility is all about. But there have been struggles, haven't there, to really deliver direct aviation. When I try to define for folk direct aviation, I say, well, think private aviation. We all know what private aviation is. It takes $1 billion on a balance sheet to make that a reality. General aviation takes a private pilot's license, and that's a pretty high hurdle rate as well. That's hard to make that a reality. But direct aviation is about democratizing that ability to go from where you are to where you want to get to quickly using air travel in a way that can fundamentally save you time, enhance connectivity, and now do it in a way that acknowledges one of the great themes of our lifetime, which is the energy transition and sustainability. And so the ability to create direct aviation is here now because of this aircraft that you see on the screen behind us, the Ultra Short. So what is this Ultra Short we described? Well, obviously it's an airplane that has ultra short performance. It's capable of performing like a helicopter. It can land and take off in distances as short as most rotorcraft. And it does it because of this intersectional technology suite. Blown lift, I mentioned, blowing air over the wing through these distributed electric propulsors, which enables the wing to think it's going faster than it is, as the air is going over it faster than around the plane itself. Enabled by that hybrid electric suite, and made possible operationally by fly-by-wire insertion, which ultimately will pair with human-machine interfaces that allow for ease of pilot operation. So the hybrid electric architecture doesn't just also give the blown lift enablement, but it also gives another critical enablement for access. If you're going to do direct aviation, it's about access, getting close to where people are. But what's the single greatest complaint against aviation by a lot of folk? Noise. But hybrid electric changes the game. You're going to see us demonstrating 75 dBAs at 300 feet, 55 dBAs at 500 feet. 55 dBAs at 500 feet, that's quieter than a car passing by on the street, just to put it in context.
Just to give you a little bit of perspective on the design and the timeline, you'll see a couple of really important features. You see 8 electric motors along the wing that blows the wing and enables that really low speed flight under control. And that low speed flight, think 30 knots, is what allows you to take off and land in such a short distance. It's not like a catapult on an aircraft carrier. You're talking about going from a stoplight to 35 miles an hour. Very, very comfortable, much more attractable to people. But once you put the flaps up, the airplane is a conventional airplane. It goes 175 knots, and you can carry 9 passengers in the product. So it's a really interesting combination of technologies that we've proven on this. Then you need something to power that. We developed a turbo generator for the prototype so that we really understood at the core what it takes to develop a hybrid electric aircraft, what it takes to make batteries safe, how to handle high voltage arcs and faults and the kinds of things that really matter in a product development. And so we really put a lot of work into that in this aircraft, and then also started developing the flight controls. Having the ability to land very precisely and to show control at those low speeds is what's really going to make it possible. And so this airplane's done that. Over the last 4 years, we started with a 3rd scale model, a demonstrator that we used just as proof of principle. We then rolled out the wing, in 2022, where we demonstrated the high lift aerodynamics. We put that on the fuselage, rolled the airplane out last year, and over the last year, we've really done a tremendous amount of flight tests and then also demonstrations that we'll talk about. We've got about 60 hours on the airplane over the last year. Longest flight, just under 2 hours. That's one of the real advantages of a hybrid electric propulsion system, is that you have the ability to put the energy into the fuel, which is in the wings, and you also have batteries, which give you that peak power for takeoff and landing. So we have really long range. The shortest takeoff was around 150 feet, a little bit shorter, and the shortest landing so far was about 114 feet, so very, very short. We've flown up to about 6,500 feet as well, so we've had a number of flights at higher altitudes. We've also flown now as slow as about 22 knots, and we haven't found the stall yet, so we'll keep giving you updates as we get slower and slower.
So this really is a critical inflection point, both for the airplane and for the company. And so this is this moment when we pivot And we go from the 2-passenger prototype to the 9-passenger product. 2,700 pounds max payload in cargo mode, although it actually can go a bit higher, we think, as we keep shaping the design. 2 pilots, but only 1 necessary, and will be certified as single pilot operations. Again, Part 23 certification. Space for 9 bags. It's a real airplane. It's not gimmicky. It actually can carry meaningful load for your experience as a passenger. And of course, cruise speed, JP mentioned 175 knots cruise for the 200 nautical mile range trips that we envision are a big part of this aircraft's performance. We think that that's fundamentally solid speed range. This airplane doesn't need to create new markets. It starts with existing markets. So the comparator here is the Cessna Caravan. And if you look at the flight data, what you're going to find is that 50% of the flights the Caravan takes are less than 100 nautical miles. Less than 100 nautical miles. That's super short. One of the reasons we call this the ultra short. When we compete with the Caravan in less than 100 nautical miles, we'll be 40% better on energy cost, and we'll be 60% better on emissions. The sustainability picture starts to get very clear here when you understand that scale. And as I said before, it's just an airplane. So it's designed to fit the current regulatory framework. It's designed to fit the cert basis. It's Part 23, fixed wing, fixed propulsors, no tilt rotors. We're very focused on safety first. This also, of course, enables things that like flying in weather that other product, be it helicopters or advanced air mobility, will struggle to fly in. Pilot training, this will be a multi-engine rating, an existent rating. Familiarization, yes. New rating, no. Operational approval. A number of our customers are Part 135 operators, and this will fit inside the existing operational context. And then as to those customers, a number are confidential, but those that I can share with you, these are some that make up the 53 customers who have placed provisional orders for the ultra short. We're around 2,200 now in total. It reflects nearly $8 billion of prospective revenue. We think that this market response is going to demonstrate that starting point we described. And you'll see it's a mix of fixed-wing operators, helicopter operators, people who understand this ultra-short. It's going to change the game in terms of the kind of operations that they can offer.